We're on.
Right.
All right. Hi, yo.
Hi.
Welcome back, everybody. Cheers.
Sparkling water.
Beer. Yeah, welcome back. This is the fourth?
Yes.
The fourth episode, yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, like we said, we're going to talk about two records like we did the Ulver and the RIM, Rebrum im Malacht. We did 2 episodes ago. This time we're going to talk about Vetëvrakh and Lure. I'm not sure how. Before we dive in, last week we were going to talk about books, but kind of over and dove straight into circles. What was your problem with books at the time? Was it something to do with the store, or who knows?
Sorry?
Was it something to do with the store, or because you were anti-book at that time?
Every time I try to order a book, I get a message, we don't do wholesale. The analog Black Terror book is released by Nuclear War now, and it's not hard to get. I can just order it, but the Iron Bonet carries all their stuff in Europe at a price I cannot compete with.
They just dive on
and then and then you have that Black Metal Media book.
Yeah.
I wanted to order 20 copies in wholesale, which is quite a lot if you ask me. They don't do wholesale in Europe. No, they do the wholesale in Europe, but it's new from New Zealand. The guy, the Lohengrin Productions.
Okay.
And you can ship to me, but it would be 10 euro per book shipping extra, which would raise the retail price enormously.
And then already or something like that.
I don't know. Then he said, but Cult Never Dies is going to print them in Europe for us.
Okay.
Then I contacted Cult Never Dies, but they're only going to do the printing for Lohengrin, so you can they will only handle retail parts. So Cult Never Dies is printing the books in Europe, but if I want to get wholesale copies, I have to order them from New Zealand. Yeah.
So that's why no books.
No books, and also there was another book. The USBM book about US black metal. I was going to take 20 copies of that, and the answer was, we don't do wholesale.
It's impossible to get. It's weird to get books from the United States right now. It's impossible. That I looked into getting that USBM book, and it was like 70 with shipping. That's
I wanted to help, but they won't allow me. They might get a reprint in a paperback version, and then they would spread it more worldwide. The USBM book.
It looked interesting, but not for that price, not for 70. The other one would be 70, also that analog Black Terror. That's why I asked you, because last time it was kind of affordable, and it's a great book. I have the first one. This one. The second one looks very promising, but well.
Yeah, I asked 10 copies to the guy, the guy who composed the book, Vanuytrecht.
Yeah.
And we met in Ghent, but he only had 5 copies in his bag. So
from the new
No, from the first one.
Okay. Because I think I got that through you. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's possible, but my personal copy went to someone else. So I don't have it right now. I don't have it.
Right, so no books. I hear you.
No books. I still have a lot of books to read, like the book on Finnish black metal, and I have the Metallion compiled book, which is
it's
super big.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get into a book like that because there's a lot of you know, if the zines are all compiled, it's easier to read a zine, of course, than to read an entire book compiled with zines.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
read
have a
some.
couple of I have a couple of Bardo methodology issues I haven't opened. I have lots and lots of stuff to read.
Yeah, that's even a different beast because there's Bardo mythology, and then you have the other one.
The archivology.
No, it's even something else. I'm not going to find it right now. I think. Oh, I have it right here. I think this is it. The Abominatio Desolationis. This one.
I don't even know it.
No, it's from the. I think it's from the same guys as the Bardo methodology or something like it. But the way this is written, it's just English, but it deals with Satanism and left-hand bad stuff. And
It's like
I'm
reading a Dead Spell Omega interview.
yeah, exactly. I was trying to read the article from what's the band? The Altars of Perversion. This one. Like it took me like 3 times to read it, and then I had to Google half of it because there's terminology in there that if you don't, I mean, if you're not into Satanism, I guess, then it's impossible to. Yeah. Zines. Yeah, let's just dive in, I guess. Which one first? You want to do rock, paper, scissors, or just Lure?
I don't mind. I don't have the. I have to shout out for the Vetëvrakh. I don't know how you pronounce it. I have to shout out to Alex from Black Gangrene because I don't have the record yet, and I can't find it online anywhere. So I asked him for a digital version, and he provided me with a digital version.
He's a great guy. He's someone that I'm in contact with for, I don't know, maybe around 5 years now. Just mailing. I never met the guy. Just yeah, mailing. He's not even on social media or anything. So it's just like writing a letter to the guy. You send a mail, and when he answers, he answers. But yeah, he always helped me out with tons of stuff. And the label is insane. The releases they did, the scenes they cover and stuff. This is the record we're going to talk about. I'll get it out. I think the moment he sent you the digital version is the moment it went up on YouTube. So now it is for everyone's.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I didn't notice. I put it on my phone and listened to it like I got it yesterday morning or maybe Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
I listened to it for like 8 or 10 times in the meantime, which was necessary because the first time I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it. It has catchy parts. Like the first one is kind of an intro, and then the second track starts pretty catchy. And I immediately liked what I heard, but just only like it to a certain level, and it didn't grow beyond that point.
Yeah. Okay. Did it grow since?
Yeah, it did. It did grow, and it's still growing. Yeah. I have when I put it on, it's like, oh yeah, this part. Oh yeah, this riff, and it's there are some points, some reference points. In the meantime, there are a lot of reference points.
Yeah.
But it's always, oh yeah, this part, it's that part, and it's this is a great part, but nothing that stands out. But it's the songwriting is pretty complex. I was expecting a raw black metal release, but it's totally not raw black metal. Only the vocals, maybe.
Yeah.
But for the rest, it's pretty. Yeah. The songwriting is complex, and the instruments are all pretty clear and audible. The bass has a prominent role. That says it puts its own details certain places.
Have you heard anything before this, or is this the first thing you heard?
It's the first thing I hear from them.
Yeah, it kind of took me by surprise when I put it on because, like you said, I was expecting a raw black metal record from Bosnia, They are from the scene. I'm not going to talk about who is in what band or who is in this band because they want to keep it anonymous. But I think the letter E with the 2 points, if you start looking for that, you'll probably figure out who is in here or who makes up this band. Um, they have a bunch of stuff out. The fact that it surprised me is because I listened to the demos mostly when they came out on the Throat, a Dutch tape label, and they had not completely different sound, but it was more dissonant, more raw black metal. But it always had kind of a production that wasn't cavernous or anything like that. So there was always audible instruments and stuff like that. But very more dissonant, I would say, than this record. Which when I put it on, I had to check if it was the record I thought I was playing because it was such a complete different sound.
There are even some poppy passages.
Yeah. For me, I think the record splits in two, and not A side, B side. It is the first 4 tracks, which has the intro, then 2 longer tracks, which is the True Face of Evil and All in His Name, and then God Ends Here is more of a passage between, for me, than the first part and the second part. The first part is more of that simple drum beat, in a sense, raw black metal, and then it kind of transfers into the Reconquering the Satan's Throne, that track. That just has it's almost heavy metal. The riff or
it has a priest-like riffing.
Yeah, the chord progression in that riff.
Very much, and I even thought of Ghost at a certain moment.
Mm-hmm. It's like you say, it's only the vocals that are overlaid on that clean guitar work and that clean instrumentation. That kind of took me by surprise. And do you know Cold Cut? That band?
No.
It's mostly instrumental, sample-based stuff from England on Ninja Tune, and they have the chord progression in that song is. I'm not saying they ripped it from that, but it reminded me so hard of something, and I looked for it the entire day what it was, and it was that. It's just that.
I hear a lot of things. There's a lot of times I think it reminds me of something I don't know what, and it's especially the bass and the like bit of progressive. The songwriting has some progressive touches.
Yeah.
For me, and it reminds me a bit of a band like Ludicra, the American black metal band. They played Roadburn once, I think. 2013 or so. It's a long time ago.
The name rings a bell, but what label is that?
I don't know. Don't know by heart. The last album was on a bigger label, I remember, but.
Props. It kind of sounds familiar, but I can't put my finger on it.
Ludicra. The Tenant was on Profound Lore.
Oh, yeah, well.
They have 4 full lengths, 2 demos, and an EP, so.
Okay.
The Tenant is pretty. It has these progressive elements, and not in technical playing or stuff, but just in the building of the songs. And it also reminds me of I had the same experience while listening. The fact that I listen to it and it's this part, that part, and I know it and it's nice, but when it's done, I hardly can remember anything that I heard.
Yeah,
it doesn't stick. But I can keep on listening to it on repeat, and it doesn't bore.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, it's like, what did I hear actually? And then during the listening, it's this part. This is catchy. And I had the same experience with Witch Trail, the last Witch Trail, The Sun Has Left the Hill, with the purple cover.
The one you released.
Yeah, when I got the files. So before it was released, I was at work and I put it on my headphones and I listened to it like 3 hours straight. And it's a 32-minute album, so 5-6 times in a row. And I had the very same experience. And it was like, at first a bit worried. will I ever like it? Because I said I want to release it before the record was recorded.
Did you do a
So
release for that?
Sorry?
Did you do a release for them before that one?
Yeah, the black and white one with the weird drawn cover.
Yeah.
It's a tall
Yeah.
EP, which
okay.
which is longer than the full album, but it's more a compilation of loose tracks.
Yeah.
Well, the album is a concept album.
I think I have one tape at Live at Roadburn. Do they have a tape?
Yeah.
I have that one. Because we talked to those guys pretty early on when they, I think before you released the EP, I met one of them at the Bot, and we talked about maybe involving them in the split series we did with Hypertension, the Abyss box.
Yeah.
And I think they were writing the EP at that time, so that was the idea to put that on the, but it never came to fruition. And then, lo and behold, Babylon Doom Cult was there.
Luckily, such great band.
Yeah.
In the meantime, that album has totally unfolded for me.
Mm-hmm.
So and there are so much references in a song. The beginning of the song, when you hear it like 20 times, you finally find out how the song is built up.
Yeah, I saw them live.
The same thing is happening with the Vetëvrakh album now.
It's an interesting album.
I have high expectations.
Or to re-listen again, or
yeah, for what it will.
Mm-hmm.
How it will grow for me, how big it will grow, the Vetëvrakh, because Witch Trail now is yeah, I love it.
Are they? Did I hear it correct? Are they done, Witch Trail?
Yeah, they split up.
Stupid. But yeah, shit happens, I guess. Going back to Vetëvrakh, I listened today to a bunch more because, like I said, I only listened to the demos. They are compiled on a nifty little record done by Asghar, which is unaffordable right now. So I only heard digital versions. But if you start listening to first the demo stuff, which is from, I have to see, 2014, 15, and 18, that's all that dissonant stuff. That is, recorded the way they recorded it at that time, I think, with the material they have. But when you start listening to their full lengths, also, which in a sense are splits. One is this. This is the one they did with Appalachian Winter, a US band, and this is on, I think, Final Agony. This, I would say, is still in that first category. But when you listen to something like the split they did with Snorri from Australia, or definitely the one with Vitala, you can kind of hear the progression in maybe them just getting better recording stuff and playing more or growing out of that dissonant and that chaotic stuff and going more into what they're doing now. I'm wondering if it's a process they thought about, or this is just a natural thing because of influences that are coming in or something like that. Knowing the scene a bit, it seems that all the projects from Bosnia are evolving out of the more raw sounds or the raw scene.
Is it linked to Obscuritatem, you think?
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but how many people in Bosnia do you think play black metal? I mean, it can be that big of a scene. In my opinion, it's probably some of the same people involved. If you start clicking the internet, you will the puzzle will unfold, and it's pretty obvious some of the same person or same people are involved in a lot of those projects. But like I said, they have links with the Dutch scene, they have links with Bosnian scene, they have links with the Portuguese scene, so it's kind of impossible to know.
Yeah, because another reference I heard in the record was the second track. So you have the intro, Son of Satan, and then the second track.
The True Faith Evil.
It reminds me a lot of this one.
That one I don't know.
It's Mahoa. and it's
Mako
released on Altare.
Ah, okay.
So that's maybe that's why I linked it, because the Altare and Black Gangrene are both Portuguese.
Yeah, and they do co-releases a lot of the time.
So and especially the guitar work at the beginning of the track, and then in the middle of the track it's repeated and it builds up, and it reminds me very much of the first track of this one.
Do you know where they're from?
Portugal, I think.
Okay. I don't know that one.
Check. Yeah. Atmospheric.
Is it from this year? No, it's an older release.
No, it's from this year.
Okay. We learn something new every day.
It's a pretty good record. It's sort of up.
Magoa, so it's Magoa, right?
Yeah. I had it on the floor against my record shelf for a long time, and I always thought it said Shager.
Yeah.
Every time I know it's not Shager because it's not the cover.
It's
a different band, but every time, even now, when I look at it, I read Shager. But it's great. It's kind of an uplifting. It had a lot of post-rock influences, and if I have to compare it with one band, it would be Death Heaven, I think. They have a lot of Death Heaven, like the uplifting chords. I don't know major and minor chords. I'm not schooled in music and anything, but it's the same kind of vibe and atmosphere. Kind of weird drumming, which I also hear back in some parts of the Vetëvrakh album. So, but
yeah. Yeah, but
yeah, who knows?
I'm pretty sure they are Bosnian exclusive. The band, I think they pulled the scene a bit back. Let's see, the last track on the all the tracks are worth mentioning. I mean, the Dominion of Terror, that track also is, that's still a grower. The last track is kind of the outro, I would say, but it's more than just an outro. It's called March Funeral, I think.
March Funeral, yeah, but it's just a funeral march. It's a classical.
Yes. And I think it's done more than once. It's done a few times, but the way they do it and the way the vocals kind of elevate it or devolve it into something, I don't know. I think the vocals in this entire record, and I think in the entire discography of Vetëvrakh, I think they do it more on the other releases, like the Vitala split, where they have multiple vocalists. I think they are a duo, but I'm once again not sure. The names I can come up with is Versmissen. That's another project, so that's a guy that has another project, and then Esoterok, so two guys. On the other releases, it's clear that they combine vocals and that they have maybe some choir stuff. Ishko, not choirs in the sense that they hired a choir to provide vocals, but that shanty choir-esque stuff. I don't hear multiple vocals in the new one. He has multiple vocal styles, but I don't hear a lot of singers going on. But I still think it's one of the highlights of the record, the way he utilizes his voice and switches from those intense howls to just his clean vocals going over the tracks.
The combination between the vocals and the music, it works really well, because you have this kind of intelligent and good sounding music, and then you have this desperate vocals drenched in reverb on top of that. And they don't take away from the music or vice versa. It is one big part.
Yeah, it's kind of a for all the raw stuff I'm showing on my channel. This is one of these records that pulls me back in, because I was oversaturated at a point that, I mean, I think I have about 50 raw black metal records in the collection, and it's like at some point it would almost seems like a joke how bad the recordings were. I mean,
Yeah.
it's maybe but when you put it out on vinyl, and they put everything out on vinyl now, I was listening to it and I was thinking, this needs to stop because I don't need to buy all this stuff. There was just a kind of a breaking point in that stuff. But to see some of
I
some of
never
the
dug in.
no,
I never dug in the raw black metal. No.
for me it was always looking for something more extreme, more extreme, more extreme, and then at some point it just I compared it to noise when around the 2000s 2001 I was way into noise because that was the most extreme I could find, and that also after a year or two had a breaking point. Like I'm just watching a guy hit an iron plate and then there's a contact mic on it and it's just not going anywhere. And that I kind of had the same feel with that raw stuff. But you see
You have
pull it up, it's a good
you
thing.
have to search for the real artist in every genre.
Yeah, I think so.
And there's a lot of filler that will be in noise, in raw black metal, in everything.
Yeah.
And then there are the ones that
Yeah,
then there are the ones that
elevate the genre maybe.
yeah. Like my favorite album ever is probably Lateralis from Tool.
Okay.
But I hate proggy music. But this album just speaks to me on a very different level, which elevates the music. And if a genre you hate, someone makes an album in that genre that you like, then it speaks to you on a whole emotional level. And that's why very often I think people's favorite album is in a genre they usually don't listen to a lot of the time.
That's interesting. Well, Tool is in my top 10, Lateralis for sure, but I listened to it so much that maybe now is the time to re-listen to it, but I broke it. I think I broke it for myself, that record. It's just I listened to it.
I have that with I have every Storm of the Roses.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I put it on just because listen to it again. It's so long and this is great, but it doesn't move me anymore.
No, just
and the same with Lateralis. It's I sometimes I had an urge to listen. I had to listen that record.
Yeah.
If I suppose I was at a gig and I had the urge, I almost had to go home to go and listen to that record. So
like
it's very, very weird. And now it's my favorite album ever. Now it's for historical reasons because I don't listen to it a lot anymore.
No, but it is one that is a benchmark for me too. It kind of pushed me into a direction listening to that record that I wasn't listening to that kind of music. Yeah, there are some gateway albums like Sun, Black One is another one, that just push you in another direction, then you discover an entire new world. That was one of them.
Yeah.
Where was I going? I think we plowed through the Dominion of Terror. The only thing I think the title is so powerful that it is more powerful than the record. Does that make sense?
The title of the record?
Yeah. I mean, when I read that they had a new record which was called Dominion of Terror, I had this expectation in my head that maybe I'm kind of a sucker for the dissonance Vetëvrakh too, so I kind of miss that dirty sound they had.
It's kind of a rock album in certain songs are part of songs, and like you said, the heavy metal riffing in the I don't know which track, 6th or 7th track, but also in the second one. Second track starts with it's just that's where I came up with Ghost.
Oh yeah. Even when you're doing this with your mouth, I can hear it goes. Yeah. The Reconquer,
It lies a bit from Ghost.
yeah, which
That
is a
one.
great. Still
But
love.
in other parts, I also wrote down Leviathan somewhere. It was
Uh,
this, Leviathan. Can't say which track because I don't, haven't listened to Leviathan enough. But I was in the car, so I don't know which track of Vetëvrakh as well. But
okay.
there was this part very moody with some. I don't. Are there synths somewhere? It was very atmospheric. Very
That was a
very
question.
atmospheric part.
Yeah, that was a question I was going to ask because there is a sound on there that I can put my finger on if it's a synth or if it's a guitar. I'm not sure, but yeah, it is a record that that deserves some more spins. But I instantly liked it. Out of the new batch, this was definitely the winner. The other one was the Asubrak or something like that. The US raw stuff, if you will. But yeah, the Minion of Terror. It I wouldn't surprise me if it showed up in my end of year list.
I
But
still have about a month, so may end up in mine as well.
yeah,
I don't do lists like this is number one, this is number two, this is number
uh,
three.
well,
Just these
it's one of those.
records I played a lot this year. Will
Are
be
we going to
something
do
like that.
this?
Hmm?
Are we going to make a list for this, like 10 releases maybe?
Maybe.
The problem will be, well, not really since we started late in the year, but there will be some records that we already talked about in that list. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
okay.
We'll see. Yeah, let's delve into Morbid Funeral. I made a video earlier today talking about, or this was playing in the back. When I talked about this first, I was under the impression that this was a Belgian artist or a Belgian guy doing this project. It is a guy from France, Strasbourg, and he is called Business for Satan.
Business for Satan, yeah.
A tattoo artist that I was under the impression that he was Belgian because he is a session musician for the Silver Knife stuff, and this was recorded or mastered in Belgium. So
I thought Deha did drums on Silver Knife, and he joined them after the release as a live member.
live member. Okay, yeah, that combined with the fact that
Isn't he the drummer for Paramnesia?
it's possible. I haven't.
Yeah.
I looked at it, but I have.
Paramnesia. It says Metal Archive, so I don't know if the band still exists.
And that's a French band.
Paramnesia is French, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so not Belgian, French, but yeah, it's recorded and mastered in Belgium too. So all those things combined just led me to the conclusion that he was from Belgium. The cover
Isn't it also recorded and mixed and mastered by Deha? I don't know the name of his studio, but I looked it up and I saw his name. So
I think so too. I didn't write it down because I had a lot of other stuff written down, but it's something like that. Yeah, I think it's the same studio where the Silver Knife stuff is recorded. I assume. Um, this is on Amafati, of course. It's limited to 150 or 250, I think.
250, I think. Yeah.
Do you still have it in the store? Because it's sold out everywhere. You still have it?
I think I have one copy.
Copy for the lucky guy who travels to Babylon Doom Cult to pick it up. It is very worth picking up. We'll get into it more. It is a screen printed one copy. It is a screen printed fold over, so it's nothing fancy. Record sleeve wise, it is a double LP. Let's just get the visuals out of the way first. This is the side C, and it has this etching. I will be surprised if it shows up, but
I
it
can
is.
see some.
Yeah, you can see
But
my.
I was looking at it earlier today, and I don't see what it is. Yeah, there's kind of a star on top, or maybe at the bottom. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a skull, and it has a star in the where Tool would have his eye. This has what's it called? I think it's a design by, the guy himself.
Himself, probably. Yeah.
Um,
Frankly, I don't care about etchings.
Sometimes when it's done right, I think I care about etchings more than just a blank dead wax side. I think kind of.
Yeah, but looking at it from a label's perspective, it has a lot of extra cost. For something I personally I don't really care.
From a label perspective, I get what you're talking about. From a fan or someone that enjoys stuff, I think it's more fun to have an etching than to have just a mirror on the D side of a record. But I get it. It is an extra cost, and it is.
I think if you have the choice, if you would let the buyer have the choice, you can buy it for 25 with an etching or 22 without etching. There would be a lot of people 22.
Yeah, probably.
I think, I don't know, but and I released an album with an etching myself once.
Which one was it?
Sleepwalker, but it's co-released with Sentient Ruin.
Okay.
Until now, that's Altidale?
Etching, eh?
No, that's 4 sides.
Yeah.
The co-releases is the only time I did an etching and a colored vinyl.
With the Sentient Ruin?
With the Descent one had a colored variant.
Oh.
And the Sleepwalker has an edge.
Oh, okay. I see a lot of labels ask more money for the color version right now. So if you have a black version and a red version, the red version will be 18 and the black version will be 16, which is weird because it's basically the same record.
Yeah, but you have the limited one is, if you put it all together, the limited one costs more to make.
Yeah, that's true. I think fans started it a bit having their black versions as the limited and the color versions as just.
Yeah.
Was cool.
I think it was. I said that in 2013 or so. Won't be long before the black vinyl will be limited, and then you had Rise Above released an Electric Wizard record, and black vinyl was limited.
There we go. 2014.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Let's dive in. Will you take the reins on this one?
Yeah, it's also an album that had to grow on me, and it's very raw sounding.
Yeah.
The guitar sound is almost too raw for me. But then again, so I actually don't particularly like the production.
No.
But if you would change a production, the album would get worse. So it's a weird sort of a catch-22. But I suffer from tinnitus, and sometimes when they're really high, sharp pitched sounds, it really hurts in my ears.
This one has that.
Yeah, definitely.
Something to keep in mind for this one also is that it feels like an album because it's 45 minutes or something like that, but it's basically his demo. So it's a 3-track demo.
Yeah.
That he decided to make 45 minutes. The boundaries between demo, EP, and full length kind of are wishy-washy because it doesn't matter anymore. I think that's just a.
Paysage d'Hiver only has one full length right now.
Yeah, and yes,
it's all demos except for the last one. So.
Yeah, what's the demo?
Just what bands call it. Like with Witch Trail, I said the Toll EP. It's like the 4 tracks were recorded or written more or less at the same time, but then the 2 last tracks are bit different in style. You can also hear it if you listen to the whole EP. It's like the first four, and then for me it's the first four, and then the last two, which are slower, more atmospheric.
Yeah.
But Reverend Bizarre has an EP of 72 minutes.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I'm talking
just
about.
what bands call it.
Yeah, I think it was
And Nails have an album of 17 minutes.
the yeah.
I
Also,
don't know which one, but
I think it's the first one, the black and white one. But
so 4 full lengths of Nails is one EP from Reverend Bizarre.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, Slayer also, they have like Rain and Blood is a full length.
Yeah,
I think maybe over or under a half an hour. I'm not sure, but it's around that.
I think it's under
Under.
or all T-side albums.
Yeah.
All T-side albums are also like just 30 minutes.
Fast
If
and
they
power.
reach it.
This one has 3 tracks, like I said, all divided over 3 sides of vinyl. So every track is on a side, A, B, C. When I listened to the digital album, I had the feeling, which is completely stupid, of course, that it was longer than the vinyl version of the album. I don't know why, but it seems like the tracks listening digital went on and on and on. And when I'm listening to the vinyl, it was over like that. I'm not sure how that works.
Especially the first track, but I think it's the shortest one.
Yeah, it's possible.
Let me check.
There's no track listing on here, but
The first one is only 12 minutes. So maybe it's because you have the breaks in between.
it's possible.
Otherwise, it's 30, it's like 45 minutes indeed.
Mhm.
But if you listen 45 minutes in one haul, it may seem long.
It kind of feels.
Now
I
you
think,
have 12 minutes, you have to flip the record, then 18, which is kind of long. Then switch the records and you have another, almost 16. I think it's because it breaks the records and because of, it goes on and on and on.
Yep.
And
It is.
you have the harsh sound and it's so atmospheric, you just go with it. But for me, it's an album I don't have to focus on when I listen to it. I just have to let it take me.
Yeah, in some points it kind of demands your attention back because I hear what you're saying. It has that flowy just going through, especially when I listen to a digital, because it just has the track. It doesn't have a break. It just goes into not a slower part, but maybe a
The break between the tracks, maybe the acoustic guitar, but it still just keeps on. If you don't pay attention, you may think it's just one long 45-minute track.
Yeah, it kind of blends into each other. But yeah, the thing on here also that deserves mentioning is the vocals once again. It's a bit buried in the mix, but everything is buried in the mix. It is, in a sense, a raw black metal album. It's a demo, if you will. It's a demo sound, but he has actually quite nice variation in his vocals. Also, that like the Vetëvrakh, that tortured howling.
Yeah.
This maybe is more cavernous than the one on the Bosnian record, but it kind of reminds me in some parts purely the vocals of Colin from Amun-Ra, but then when all hope is lost. Amun-Ra still has a tinge of hope. This is just, I'm sorry, it's done. It's just on and on, and
the first track I wrote, I read the first 5 sentences of the lyrics, but then I thought, this French is not for me anymore. But it deals about death and quand j'étais dans la mer, quand j'étais dans ma mer, something like that.
Que la vie est belle is the first one, which means isn't life beautiful? But then when you hear it, the answer is obviously no. My French is actually horrible, so but it has a lot to do with death and stuff like that. Dans ce brouillard silencieux, quand j'étais dans ma mer, dans la sombre éternelle, I guess. Yeah, it is something, that is for sure. It kind of, it didn't have to grow on me, because the first time I heard it, I was instantly hooked. Is a stupid thing to say, but the sound, I was completely surprised by the sound, the way it sounded, and the way it spoke to me. Maybe because of the connection to Amon Ra, I've been a fanboy forever. It's waned a bit because I'm kind of over it, I guess. Maybe working with him kind of put me off, but there was that connection, vocal wise, and that kind of drew me in. And I listened to it quite a lot of times. I think maybe I'm on my second listen my seventh listen right now. Mainly digital, because that was the preferred way at the time. But really love it.
I wasn't into it the first time I heard it, but I was in the car going to drop parcels. Had to keep track of time.
Yeah.
For the parcel shop not to close, and then I always have to listen to music, and then I cannot force myself into understanding or feeling the music.
Mm-hmm.
It has to like you water a plant and the water seeps in, the music has to seep in, and I cannot speed up that process.
Yeah, I had the same, talking about a car, I had the same feeling this week with Over again. It was okay, then it clicked, and now it's goosebump material. When I was driving around, it's dark outside, driving with Over in the speakers, and it was goosebump material. So once again, thank you for that recommendation. The last thing, the artwork is it's just a fold-over screen printed stuff, but the cool thing, and this is, forgive me for such a nerdy detail, but the way the logo, I don't know if this will show up, but the way the logo casts a shadow, can you see that?
Yeah.
I think that is such an interesting detail. It's very nerdy, I'm aware, but that detail just the entire cover for me. It reminds me of the Pakket Nexemu artwork stuff, especially the logo, but yeah, it is something of its own.
Or the Mystique logo, no?
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of the Swedish Svarta.
I have seen the Mystique logo today because I had to pull it out of my shelf to ship. Yeah, there you have it.
Definitely. But yeah, sound wise, it's not pulling from this. It is more. It is.
I
French,
hear a lot of.
I
hear a lot of. The first reference I got was Ash Borer.
Yeah, it's definitely American. I think I read some reviews, and it says a lot of French. Every time somebody in France makes a black metal record, it's immediately catapulted back to Légion Noire, of course. I don't hear it too hard on this one. It's just maybe the French lyrics that kind of make it reminiscent of something like that. But yeah, I hear more of American influences coming through. I don't know. That's
for me, it's Paramnesia. I put in the black metal that has evolved from hardcore corner, like Vendetta Records often releases. But maybe it's because they released an album on Vendetta and they have a split with Ulta. I think it's because of that.
Is it Paramnesia?
Paramnesia. And especially their track on the Ulta split is also one long track, which may even, I only heard it like once at a friend at Jan Cassier's house. But it's now that I'm talking about it, maybe a bit similar to this one. And then
since he was in the band?
I went up to the attic to get my Ash Border records.
Okay.
And I put on the split with Fell Voices. And then after that, I put on the Regnum Saturni from Fell Voices.
Yeah, saw that yesterday.
And it kind of has it has the riffs of Ash Borer and the atmosphere of Fell Voices, I think.
Yeah.
And the last track that I listened to the last Yellow Eyes record a few times the last weeks, and the last track, the third track of Lure, the beginning, it started, and I was like, oh, I know this, and it's a track. I think the first or second track on the last Yellow Eyes album, which is the same beginning of the riff, and it stands out because it's both the beginning of the song and it's the begin riff.
Yeah.
If somewhere after 3 minutes he does something that reminds me of then it isn't so noticeable. But
I think before we started, you asked what will we do next week. I think this episode naturally brought us to the point that maybe we should look into Ash Borer and Fell Voices.
You can do it.
Yeah, since we are both say fanboys, but let's call it fanboys. So yeah, maybe that's something.
I once drove. It was like Roadburn. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on Monday, I drove to Amsterdam on my own to see Ash Borer and Fell Voices.
Because they played Roadburn.
Yeah, they played Roadburn and I saw them.
Yeah.
Fell Voice was amazing. It was in the Batcave, and I was at the back of the Batcave, and the drummer is Mike the drummer in Fell Voices.
Yeah, I think so.
And he just stood up and he was shouting just without a mic, and you could hear him to the back over the guitars and the bass. And
I was in the front row for that one, and I'm never in the front row.
The good thing is, by driving to Amsterdam, they played the track of the split with Ash Borer, which they didn't play at Roadburn, which is my favorite track, maybe before the Regnum Saturni came out.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm glad I did.
Fell Voices, definitely. I mean, that show, when someone asked me what's your favorite show you ever saw, I think maybe, I can't say that's the favorite because there have been so many, and there have been mind-blowing shows, but that was a mind-blowing show. Definitely because it was in the Batcave. It was that, cramped feeling, too much people in a sweaty hole. I think it was one of the first shows of that year. It was early, I think, because I was paying attention. So that's when I'm paying attention and I see an entire gig, I know 1, it's good, 2, I'm not drunk, and 3, it's early in the day. So it must have been early in the day. But yeah, let's keep that in our back pocket for maybe next week, because that deserves some attention, I guess. Is there anything more Lure?
More Lure? I don't think so. Yeah, listen to it. Buy the last copy from me fast. No, but I heard it. The guy behind the band wanted 250 copies in the one-time pressing only.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Now or never.
I will check Discogs if it's already on there.
I think I checked it because I was looking for people where to get it, and I think it's still affordable.
€30.
It's going up because I think I looked at
€30, but it's from other distros.
Oh yeah.
From other mail orders. So
yeah,
once private people will start selling it, it will go will raise.
That's one of the reasons I went so heavy, or I have so many of that raw black metal releases, because those labels tend to put out digital stuff before the release, and then you have a split second to get it or lose. So I kind of stepped away from that. Maybe labels like Grondwerk or stuff like that. And by no means a diss to them. They have a good thing going, but it's just the rat race was becoming too much.
I just read this week that Dead Cult.
Yeah.
Dead Cult, they have an American partner now. It's called Not Cult. I think that's what I understood.
Yeah,
And
it's not an Appalachian Noise.
Sorry, not?
Not called, I think it's called, and then there's another one called Appalachian Noise.
Okay, I didn't read about that, but and this guy was giving them credit because they are going to repress everything while there's demand for it. Because I saw there was an Lamp of Murmur, the last one, and this guy had it on Discogs for $30 Canadian, and shipping was $270. So it was like, okay, it's probably I didn't go and check, but it's probably $300. And he said, okay, I'll put mine for $30 and then just put the shipping in a crazy amount of money.
Yeah, that's the stuff I'm not into anymore. I was talking to a guy because he posted something on Instagram and he had 2 tapes of the Eternal Champion, whatever. And he was asking 20 euros for the tape. Because that's kind of an expensive tape. And he said, well, the most expensive tape in my collection is 900 euros. So when I picked my jaw back off the floor, it was the original Ghost demo. I don't know if you ever saw the prices for that. There's one now talks for over 2,000 euros.
Yeah.
So that's how crazy that shit goes. And it apparently sells because you have the lowest, median, and the highest, and there's a highest. So, I don't know. Crazy.
I just don't. I try not to buy records to have them. Mm-hmm. But if I would buy everything, I'm afraid to miss.
Yeah.
If I would buy it immediately for a year, or I would have to buy the things I really like 5 years later, I would be cheaper off 5 years later.
Probably.
With Discogs prices than buy everything at regular prices.
Yeah.
Because of maybe the 100 albums, maybe 10 or 15 are worth having 5 years later.
Yeah.
That's a theory, people.
Theory. For me, it was kind of like what I said, because I was mainly interested in that genre that just you had to buy because it was gone. Combined with the fact that I'm doing this channel that, kind of survives, or that is talking about newer releases that I want to show. So it's kind of that vicious circle that keep feeding the beast. But I don't know. I looked into other stuff to make videos about, and just
For me, a record in my collection isn't worth anything if I don't listen to it.
No, 100%. That's why I'm selling, not like crazy, but I have I don't know, I think 50 records for sale right now for my personal collection. Just, thin the herd. Yeah, we have come to the part that I called the playlist, or what we're listening to now. Do you have something?
Yeah, I spun the Yellow Eyes record this week. And I also, I listened to this one. That's Scepter or Scepter.
Oh, yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
I pulled it
this
out.
This one, I had the Last Fell Voices album, which is kind of trance-inducing black metal. Yes. But then I played this after it, and it's like, trance-inducing black metal next level or so. It's very, very good.
I listened to it once completely through earlier in the week, and then when I know you were going to pull it out, I listened to it again today, and I got to the second break because it's like one continuous track, like the Lure album, but the previous one kind of it just went for it. There was no intro; it just started, and it blasted all the way through. This kind of has some up and downs, maybe, which is just to say that it breaks the entire piece up in maybe 2 or 3 tracks. I'm not sure.
I especially remember the side A is just start to finish, just go and don't stop.
The intensity of this is off the.
It's 1 track per side.
Yeah.
It's very intense. Yes.
People a lot of time talk about that trance-inducing state, but it's mostly something like Oranzi Palsuzu, which has those floaty, atmospheres and stuff like that. This is trancey because it's so relentless and so
it just keeps on going.
Unrelenting and unforgiving. Is just the thing I said when the first one came out, and I remembered it when thinking about this one. That can you imagine this live? Just they start playing, and let's say you're at Hut Boss, and they start playing just a show, half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, and you're like getting blown back. It would be too much, definitely. But yeah, I said it then and I say it now. When these guys play live, that would be amazing.
Have you ever heard the Jazzkamer? Metal Music Machine from Jazzkamer or Metal Machine Music?
I know the name, but no, never heard.
It's the other way around, like the Lou Reed album. It's Metal Machine Music, then Jazzkamer has Metal Music Machine, or vice versa.
Okay, I'll know that.
You should check the first track. It's called Friends for Satan.
Okay.
Friends of Satan.
Can you?
And it's the same. Friends of Satan. Metal Music Machine from Jazzkamer. 6 minutes 35, and it's like it's a bit like the Dead Scepter track.
Yeah, okay. But it's not black metal, right?
Yeah, this track is definitely, but not the atmospheric or so. It's kind of an extreme experimental track.
Okay.
Don't know if you should call it black metal or not, but
I saw Metal Machine Music. I saw Lou Reed perform Metal Machine Music. I don't know when, in the AB some years ago, and I was like, because me and my buddy, we are, way into Lou Reed. Velvet Underground is my, let's say, number 1 band. So we we laced up our boots and we went to the AB to see Metal Machine Music, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this? It's not bad. Lulu is bad. Metal Machine Music is just like, yeah, okay. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what this is.
Yeah, I'll link you the track.
Yeah, okay. I've written down that I should write down the inputs, so this will be an input to put in the video as a link.
I've also listened to the new Urfaust.
Oh yeah.
Teufelsgeist.
I have it in pre-order with you. I heard 1 track. I see a lot of people who like it. I see some who bash it because they say it was boring, but to be fair, it was on 1 track because the album wasn't released at that time. But how is it? Is it because the first track is kind of like an intro to it's called, I wrote it down, Officieel der Astrologische Mengvormen, which I think is a incredible title, but it's kind of a build-up track. So
it's a concept album.
Yeah.
About the stages of drunkenness. Yeah, and the first one is supposed to be euphoric. Yeah, you're happy, you're euphoric, but then for me, it's not like getting drunk one evening, but being a drunkard and just in the beginning it's fun, but then after a couple of weeks, years, months, I don't know, it becomes a habit, and you're addicted and you need it, and then you become this very sad person.
Yeah.
And it's mainly keyboard driven, but it's like, if you like dissonance, it's like really I once saw them at Magazijn 4, After 4 or 5 tracks, he pulled out his is it a Moog? I don't know, but a synthesizer, and it was like really oppressive, dark, torn music coming out from the stage, and I still remember that. And listening to this one yesterday took me back to that gig and those 2 or 3 tracks he played on his synth.
Does it have guitar or just it's mainly synth?
I can't tell you right now.
Yeah.
It's mainly synth. It's mainly synth.
Okay. No, I'm curious about it. Very curious about it. Yeah, the one I've been listening to, digital, is the one you not recommended, but hyped me to it. The Via Sinistra, the Silenzio Culto do Abismo, the new Alter release. I immediately checked it because I have this in my collection, and this is one of the records that I bought because it was a Perverse homage, raw black metal, and then I think this was through Temple of Wounds, one of those labels that sells out rather quickly. Now, this was a record that was around for a very long time, and maybe is still around, because I still don't know what I think about it. It has
Is it the Via Sinistra?
No, yeah, this is the Via Sinistra, but the self-titled or the demo.
Okay.
It is.
I never heard of the band before I got the mail from Altar.
The cover is rather the same than the new one. The new one is supposed to be the full length. It has all the hallmarks of a black metal record, but it is all the distortion is pulled away from it. Not all the atmosphere is pulled away from it, but it is. I found it hard to describe then, and I find it hard to describe now. It's maybe indie black metal. It has just the bare necessity or the bare minimum of what should be necessary to have a black metal record. It has the howl, it has the screams, it has layered vocals, but the guitar work is so clean that it's
Okay, I will check it.
The new one, like I said, Silencio Culto do Abismo, was easier for me to get into. Maybe because I heard this one first, the demo or the EP or whatever you want to call it. But it's an interesting record. So that is something
I only skipped through it. I haven't listened to it yet.
No, it is. I don't think it's something you can skip to, because if you skipped through the demo,
I picked up a few riffs here and there. Yeah.
But do you know what I mean with the too clean tone for black metal? There's no distortion to be found.
On the new one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are more black metal. If you listen to a band like what they're called. Yeah, they're on Lupus Lounge, and they have this album with a black apple with a bite taken from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I will look it up.
Now the thing I was going to say with it is because it comes from a background that I'm unfamiliar with. There is a style of black metal, like for example, the box I got from you, the what's it, Handelfart or something like that. They do it too. That almost acoustic black metal, if you will. Not on all records, but on I think the first 2 or some of them, they have that kind of sound too. With the black apple, I don't know.
Secrets of the Moon.
I don't know. I know the name, but I don't know the band.
But there are a lot of black metal bands that have kind of a clear sound.
Mm.
Yeah. Not that I can name 5 at the moment, but
difference between a clear sound and because the this one at some points it was almost like like there was no music going on. Like do you know Nicolas Jaar for example? It's also an electronic music. He has this record that is like almost a silent record, and that it reminded me of this because it has these interludes that and I know a lot of records have it, but like 5 Minutes of Rain, for example,
Mm.
like these recordings, and then it kind of flares up with a guitar somewhere in the back, and then you hear someone scream, and then it goes back into some ambient stuff and something like that. So it's everything that is built record or surrounding black metal record gets the main part in something like this. That's
Yeah.
how I would describe it. So more of an ambient, but kind of like an acoustic ambient black metal. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. But I think the new one is maybe a bit more accessible way. I'm not sure. That Scepter, I had that too. And then that's kind of it. I think I've been listening to mysticism productions like Biket Nexemu. I dove into the demo stuff, but not enough to really have an opinion because it's like 3 records. Both sides are filled with re-recorded demo material from them. The thing I've been listening to most lately, and that's because it's becoming cold out, is the Multivitum or something like it. These are the 2 ambient records that Busted Out was released last year, which when I first got them in, looking at the covers, I thought it was going to be one of his more abrasive sounding records ever, and then it turns out there were 2 ambient records. So it took a while for me to focus and to dive in.
But it does have black metal albums under that moniker, no?
Yes, these are the 2 ambient ones. The black metal one is for now only on CD, so it's not released. I'm still waiting when it will drop, but I think Purity Through Fire or something hinted that it will be around the corner, but that's like a year ago, so I'm not sure where it's at with it. But that one is actually a very good record, and my favorite just because it's black metal instead of ambient. But yeah, that's what I've been listening to, I guess.
I'm thinking, last 2 days I kind of only listened to Vetëvrakh.
Yeah.
And yesterday evening, I did, what was it? Lure,
Yellow Eyes, Spell Voice.
Yellow Eyes, Urfaust, and Foul Voices, and that Scepter.
That's it. The last thing I put on today, just before we started, was the Bestia Arcana. This one with Holocausto, just because the Achilles has a new record that I think will be worth. I haven't heard it. I only have this by them. It's an American band. Yeah. The new record is called Malinois, I think.
Yeah, I have it. I have it. It's been delivered yesterday here.
Okay.
But I can't send it out until next week.
How does the package look? Because this one is incredible. The record I have.
I haven't opened it yet. The vinyl itself is white with black and green.
Oh yeah, it's a nice
splatter. Tricolor, they said, but it's a splatter album. Reminds me a bit of the limited one of Elder.
Oh yeah,
Norda Betrachtels from Elder. The guy from Nico from Eisenwald said the lizard frog vomit colored. That's about it.
That's about it. It was black, yellow, green, white, or something like that. Frog vomit.
Yeah,
it's on the money. Yeah, they had the Dreaming one in 2015, and now they have another full, which I think will be worth it. But yeah, I haven't heard.
I haven't heard the Dreaming Eye, but I heard the 2 tracks of the new one, and especially the slower track. It's pretty intense. I never checked it because I don't like his other projects.
Like the like this one, for example.
Nightbringer. I haven't heard that, but isn't he also in Nightbringer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them live once in Roeselare, but I don't get it.
I never checked Nightbringer. No, but yeah, I don't know how I got this to be the first one to follow my radar. Mostly because the Eclipse the Dreaming, that record was hard to find at some time here. It was impossible to get. Maybe if you pay like $50-$60, it was obtainable, but now it's repressed, I guess. So it's
it's repressed also in a very colorful splatter version.
They're good with that shit. I think this one too has a. I don't think this is a black one. This is a pinkish. It's pink with gold running through it. So they do cool shit with their vinyl. This is on Dark Descent. I thought it was on a different label. It's Dark Descent.
Okay, yeah, the new one is the Achilles is DB more Morty.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they have they probably have the best looking splatter album I've ever seen, which is the last Bluthausnacht. And they have it in the splatter of the color, so it's clear and it's like blue with pink and purple, something like that. And that's actually when you put it against the light, it's nice to see, but I hate splatter vinyl.
You hate splatter?
Yeah, it's but ugly.
When it's done nice. I like it.
I always have the example of my Volan Akapal. The artwork is like green with blue and some yellow, and it's the paintings of their ancient culture. And then you take out the vinyl, and it's like ugly yellow with black splatter, and it's just the colors have nothing to do with the artwork. It's just fuck it.
When it's nice. Like, for example, the Blood Incantation, the last one. I think the first run they did was last year. Was the perfect, the cover, and then you have.
That's not splatter.
No, it's not a splatter, but it has splatter.
Oh, maybe the other side looks a bit like splatter. Yeah, okay.
It's a merge splatter going through it, so sometimes it works, but I always like it when the mock-up of the record and you think like, wow, it's incredible, and then it comes in and it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
you're good at Photoshop. I think we had it once with Hypertension when we did Cocaine Fizz. I think the dancer, they presented it as this confetti inside a vinyl, and we were like, oh yeah, that's perfect for the record. So the mock-up, the thing the label presented was incredible, immaculate, and when we got it in, it was like, okay,
yeah,
let's ship it out.
I'm curious because I'm having a record pressed gold with black marbled. So it's not splatter, but it's like the marbled effect. And we have to provide a mock-up ourselves.
Okay.
And then they can say, okay, we can kind of get to that featured colors.
Sometimes it gold dust, and it's more in clear vinyls. Like the last one I can remember is the Juvia Enigma, the triple 10-inch.
Yeah.
They had pressed the gold dust into the red, but when you opened the record, it just had gold dust all over the record. So you could play it, but you had to clean it like severely to have it.
Yeah, it's a very I don't find it a pleasant record to put on because it's 3 10-inches, and they purposely didn't mark A, B, C, D, E, F. And then there's this one who plays from the inside to the outside, and what's the use?
It was their swan song, but it was, put it out on a. It even sucks putting it in because it's right here. I put my 10 inches in my 12 inches. Yeah, a triple 10-inch. That's just to fuck with people, I guess. Yeah.
Unless there's a concept behind it. I don't know if it's the case.
I don't know either. There's no information, so how would you know? The only thing that is, good about it is there's Juvia. The other thing, I don't get it. That's maybe another band, because that was one of the first bands we kind of connected on. I know Misterming and then Juvia. That's maybe another thing we can delve into, the Icelandic scene or the UVR records.
The
I'll write it
Icelandic
down.
scene. We have 3 years covered.
Yep.
There's a new band every week. I just
Yeah.
saw the Von Laus, which has been released on Misty Chaos. It's also from Iceland.
Yep.
And then they just
Last
keep
thing
on
that-
coming.
The last thing I saw was the Null on was it Amorfati? No. Null. On Van Records. They had an Icelandic release.
No.
Null.
Yeah.
I kind of stopped following it because it was getting too much.
But that's a pretty interesting record. Should listen to it some more, but that's a good one. Yeah, it's kind of an all-star band, and they play a doomy variant of black metal.
Yeah, when I saw that it wasn't just straight up black metal, my interest kind of peaked. But yeah, I'll write it down just to be sure. All right, we are once again over the 1 hour mark.
Yeah.
The plan was to keep it around an hour 21. So I guess it works. Yo, thank you very much. I shouldn't
You're
be
welcome.
thanking you. It's not an interview.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah. Thank you, Yo. We'll talk about what we're going to do next week. To everyone else, thank you for watching, and we'll see you, I don't know, next week, I guess.
Somewhere in the future.
Bye.
Bye.